Who's ready for another round? Hello everyone, Dance Macabre here. Welcome back to another episode of Doki Doki Plus. Today we're gonna go ahead and go through the next girl's route. So last time we went for YURI'S. I went ahead and played through it once, and played for Sayori's route and went back before she, was left to hang around. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is skip all the dialogue that we went through on our first playthrough, and we're just going to do all new dialogue. So let's go ahead and do that. So last time we went for Sayori. This time I think we're going to go ahead and go for Yuri. And then we'll end up with Natsuki. At least Yuri's pretty easy to pick the words for the poems. Alright, got Yuri. Let's go ahead and continue onward. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and press the skip button. We're going to skip everything we saw before. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a bit more. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she knows me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper into her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I melted this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh. It's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I want to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark term came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Kaylee? No, it's not that. I mean, I could definitely enjoy those kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot Yuri's into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you fight you're related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I could do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I could feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk up until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean into each other a bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess it makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same thing with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I could feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a little distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I could do. Since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it on my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses a lot of the things that she says it does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I could see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Kaylee, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. Oh, that's so embarrassing that you think that. Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I didn't really know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we shared today's poems with each other. Monica just sliding into our DMs. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little bit more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. Okay. This is the same dialect, so let's go ahead and just skip this. Okay, so for the poems, I'm gonna go ahead and only read out dialogue that they say in regards to it being more written like something that Yuri would write rather than say Yuri. This is a good poem, Kaylee. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time? I guess you're right. But that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously. Or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room? Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See, it's like I said before, deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people? That's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means for her and all. Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That'll be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that then. Yay! Now, you'll read my poem too, right? Well, sorry sir, but I'm gonna skip. Let's talk to Natsuki. Kaylee, if you're not gonna take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What, you expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and skip the rest. Now let's talk to Yuri. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Yeah? What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Yeah? I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicated you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails up, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and then having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There's so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. It's just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to to herself, not to Surf, to me or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Well, we're gonna skip it. Eh? It's nothing really. Yours was impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I gotta keep doing my best for you, Kaylee. Me too. Alright, Monica time. How do you like not being deleted right now, Monica? You better not try anything. Great job, Kaylee. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. Both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuances. It could take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. Oh. It could take a while before I feel comfortable in doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little biased towards their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find you with... I'm sorry, Monica, I can't read. But I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Nah. Oh boy, Yuri and Natsuki are arguing now. And since we're going in Yuri's route, I'm going to pick Yuri. Natsuki? You're right that I liked your poem. See. Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone else's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it and becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized, don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm gonna do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumbles the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Oof. Natsuki. She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Look, MC, you just made everything worse. God. Everything alright? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone have How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, alright, I believe you. Thanks, Kaylee. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. The one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So, yeah? What thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm gonna go make some tea. Good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Okay, time for us to just go. Sorry, Natsuki. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and do another one. Hey, Yuri. Eh? I suddenly noticed that Yuri is reading a different book from the one we've been reading together. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No, I was just kind of waiting for you. If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? No, not at all. Thanks very much. If there's one thing that could make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside. Can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm gonna plug this in at the teacher's desk, then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and sets the kettle on the teacher's desk. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and meth. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Yeah. Where are you two off to? Yeah? Yuri was gonna make some tea, so I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher. Ah, okay. You better watch out later, Yuri. I'm coming for you. Sorry, I was just a little bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? Monica, please mind your own business for once. Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve Kaylee in club activities? Eh? Whoa, my mouth gapes. I'm gonna have you pay for this later. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go, Kaylee. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly presses her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri, something about the way she said that. It made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri. I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that. Kaylee, how come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you did is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Yuri lifts her head. Kaylee, I really like being friends with you. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that. You're in the friend zone, bro. You're in the friend zone. But I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway, yeah. Shall we go? Yeah. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Kaylee, do you like oolong tea? Ah, yeah. Anything is fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Hey guys, leave a comment down below. Do you like tea? What kind of tea you like? I like me some peppermint and chamomile. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do any less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert on tea or anything? In that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show. And you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided I would try expressing myself a bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. Ah, that's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Kaylee. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I could keep up with this. MC, shut up. I watched Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Kaylee, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? Huh? Why's that? It's a little easier for my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending at my desk. Sorry, I didn't realize. No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. Is that so? I wonder why that is. It's mostly because your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading. Yes, I have terrible reading posture. That's what Natsuki was talking about yesterday. So that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieved the book from my bag. I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Yuri's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assumed the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other. I can't see too well. Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus. Because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest, because I'm a virgin. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. That's okay, I won't take any. Wow, MC, so you're gonna go ahead and give her some chocolate, but with Sayori you're like, no. That's okay, I won't take any. Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then I might get smudges on the pages. You're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. Yuri, how intensely are you grabbing the chocolate when you're worried about getting smudges all over the pages? Do you just like grab a fistful, let it melt in your hands, and then just slather it in your mouth? Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so I don't have any harder of a time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri's already focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. Then I take another chocolate and hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if this situation was completely natural. That means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. Kaylee? Sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done that. Well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah. That's all it was. I'm in the friend zone. Yeah. Then you don't need to stop or anything. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I could just tell by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers, but this time Yuri's eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling into the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips, but it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone. I just love how she just slides in and completely interrupts it with Yuri's stuff. Wow. Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Kaylee, you can help Yuri put away this tea stuff, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, thanks. The spell is abruptly broken. Oh, I'll take care of the cups. Yeah. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Oh my god. I like this one, Kaylee. It has some nice feelings in it. I'm glad. Does that mean it's better than yesterday's? Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. That's not very helpful, you know. Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad, but that's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. I'm not sure that's exactly how it works. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Yeah, me neither. Ugh. Why don't you at least try giving some thought? Aw, you wanna write something for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. Eh? Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet. Yeah. Yeah, I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Yuri. I mean, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most, but sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug and make a nice happy rainbow. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic. It is. Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Kaylee. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Alright, let's go ahead and skip that. Alright, Natsuki time. Well, I can admit that it's better than the last one. It's nice to see that you're putting in some effort. That's good. But I still don't like this at all. You're trying too hard to be serious. What do you mean by that? Poems don't need to be all deep sounding to express something. It's gonna just sound like you're forcing it unless you really don't suck at it. Honestly, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. Natsuki stopped short all of a sudden. Don't tell me. You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? What are you talking about? Keep your voice down. You know Yuri would love these kinds of angsty... Just because she's a talented writer doesn't mean I can... Looks like I'm in trouble. I somehow struck a nerve, though what I did is beyond me. I am so done with you. Natsuki shoves the poem I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem. If you wrote it for someone else, just don't show it to me. Ouch. This is what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business. Unless I was a mind reader, I was destined to be in a world of pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Fine, Natsuki. I guess I pissed her off. Let's talk to Yuri.
Let's see what you've written for today.
Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it?
Kaylee, this one might be even better than yesterday's. How'd you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing.
Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty.
I'm not used to this.
Used to what?
I don't know.
It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her.
Yeah, just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy.
Are you saying you'd never shared her writing before? Yuri, you know that, MC. They were talking about how they don't share their poems. That's why we're doing this. Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe it.
I really only write for myself. It was...
Shut the fuck up, neighbors, kids.
And besides, people just laugh at me.
Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh. Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Not everyone has friends, MC. You don't have to be so insensitive. God. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote for today?
Yeah, I do. If it's with you.
And we're gonna go ahead and skip this. Why do you keep them to yourself?
Because they're embarrassing. People would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Kaylee?
Well, yeah, I guess I do.
I feel like everyone has a little something like that. The best we could do is respect each other and our individualities. Even if it's difficult sometimes, and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a bit now, but I'm glad that you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Kaylee.
That's exaggerating a little bit. It's just
how I feel. I never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing. But now I almost feel like I look forward to it. It's just a really nice feeling. And you're to thank for that.
It's nothing really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment, her timidness seems to disappear. I guess let's talk to Munko. This one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. I noticed that too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside of her. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on inside of that head of hers? I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that, you must be pretty into her. Hopefully not too into her. And completely misunderstand. Calm down, I'm kidding. Not really. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, really? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but... well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. But anyway, you might want to read my poems now. I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Well, we're gonna go ahead and skip it. Ooh boy. Uh-oh. I'm gonna feel terrible saying this, but I'm very curious as to what she says. Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, I would feel awful turning her down, so... Isn't she so beautiful and smart? That has nothing to do with what I just said. You admitted it. Jeez. There's not even any point to speculating something that's never going to happen. Well, maybe. But I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore, you know? Need you? Sayori? I can't figure out how you're seeing things from your head right now. Sorry. Everyone is different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you.
If you say so.
Well, now I feel like a terrible person. Fucking MC, it's all your fault. The conversation trails off and I'm left feeling awkward. But it was kind of her fault for trapping me with such a weird question. I can't just lie to her. But if there's something that makes her happy, I would hate to take that away from her. That's why I said there's no point in speculating. Then again, the festival is only a few days away. Who knows what'll happen in that time. Alright, and we're actually gonna go ahead and end it here for today. It's getting a little bit late over here in Alaska land. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And be sure to leave a comment down below with your feedback. I would really appreciate it. If you want to see all my socials and my coffee and my Etsy and all my links, go ahead and go down in the description. All my stuff is laid out there. Until next time, this is Dance Macabre, signing off.